many, many years ago. Do you remember when you were on the dating scene, when you were out there trying to find a suitable suitor? Well, today's show, Wellness Week Live. What's up, everybody? This is DJ Tony. I am your host. Now, I'm not a DR. No, yes, I'm not a DR. I'm a DJ. See, it says it right there, DJ. So always check with your healthcare professionals. Don't listen to me. Okay. So today's show, Wellness Week Live. Let's talk about dating tips for young ladies and young men, but this show for young ladies, and I'm going to tell you why. A little while back, I was talking to one of the young ladies that works for me, and she's in her early 20s. We'll call it, I don't know. I think she's in like 21, something like that. And, you're just talking, whatever. And she was talking about the dating scene, and I see her as like my daughter. She's just a good person, sweet kid. And so I was giving her some dating advice. Now, listen, it says it right there. I'm a DJ. Okay. I've seen some stuff in my life. So, and I'm a guy, and I'm on the dating scene too, actually, as an older adult. But I said to myself, wow, so I was giving this young person some dating tips, like a dad or an uncle, and I said, well, what would I tell my daughter if I had a daughter? Now, I don't have a daughter. I have nieces though, but they're not in their early 20s yet. But if I had a daughter, or if I had my nieces when they're in their early 20s, and if they ever ask me, Uncle Anthony, Uncle Tony, what advice can you give me? I want to find a really good guy, and I swear to God, this green light is driving me nuts. That's the light I wanted. All right. So I said to myself, yeah, what advice would I give my daughter if I had one, about dating, or when my nieces asked me? But in this case, it was, again, one of my person that I work with, and we were just talking about life and, the dating scene, and I gave her some tips because I want the best for her. I don't want to see her complaining about some of these guys who are jerks. And there's a lot of great guys out there. But anyways, so this episode is a dating advice for young ladies. Now, again, it could be interchangeable for guys or whatever, any which way you want. You do you, God bless. But again, this is the context. I'm talking to a young woman, and what would I say if I had a daughter or my nieces, or in this case, this young woman? Okay, so my dating advice for you, young lady, if you're watching this, or anybody really that's on the dating scene, but again, particularly young lady. And I said to myself, So I said, I would tell my nieces this. I would say, honey, the first thing you got to do, okay, when you're looking for someone that you want to be with, a long-term relationship or even marriage, a serious relationship, right? You have to ask the guy. I'm not kidding now. Do you exercise? That's the first question above everything else. Do you exercise? Now, do you work out? Okay, that's the first question. And how many times if you say yes? Now, if the dude is like, what's the exercise, dude? Or like, work out, run, don't hang around that dude. Now, you may think that that's kind of superficial. And I'm not talking about pumping weights and hitting the gym. I don't. Although that could be that too, but I'm talking about exercise. So does this person get out at least 3 times a week, get up off his ass and walk? That's free. Or, for exercise purposes. Now, I'm not talking about walking for work or walking to go to the bathroom. I'm talking about that they get out and they make a concerted effort, 3 times or more a week to run outside or walk. These are free things, no excuses. Or join a gym, or is it martial arts, or swim, or run, or cycle, or canoe, whatever. Does this person exercise? That's the first lesson, honey, I would say to my nieces. Does this person do that? Now, you may ask, well, that's kind of an odd question, because this is why. That's the foundation, okay? That's the foundation. If you have a man or whatever woman, but in this case, again, I'm talking to a female who's looking for a man. If you have a man that exercises at least 3 times a week, at least minimum or more, everything then can be positive and sprout from that. Because look, if you're taking care of your physical body, guess what's happening, right? More than likely, you're probably eating right. And this means you have not only a strong body, but it's not about the muscles. It's about this, because exercise, according to the CDC, if you believe the CDC, exercise benefits more than the muscle and muscles. Exercise benefits the most your mind, and then the muscle, actually, in that in that order. It's not muscle first and then mind. It's mind first and then muscle. And that's a fact. Go look it up. Don't believe me. So that's why I'd want my nieces or this young woman I was talking to, if I had a daughter, I would want them to ask that question to this man. Because if the guy says no, or I don't know, kind of, or I'm too busy, out, next. Because that is the absolute necessary foundation for everything. So if this guy's working out, then it's safe to assume, more than likely, he's eating right. And if he's eating right, guess what? He's taking care of his life. He's probably not doing drugs. He's probably not drinking all the time. He's probably not doing that either. He's probably got his shit together. It's domino effect. So that's the basis right there. If that guy is doing that, it's safe to assume if he's working out, he's eating right. And if he's eating right, he's got his life together. And if he's got his life together, he's probably got an education, trade school or college or military. You see where I'm going with this? It gets better and better and better. But if he's not exercising, it's safe to make a lot of assumptions that probably a little lazy, probably makes excuses, probably too busy, out, next. So that's the number one thing. Ladies, my nieces, if I had a daughter, I say, honey, that's the first and most important thing. Number one, that's the building block. Okay, moving on. Do you have a job? Do you have a job? Here's that green light again. I'm going to fucking break this. I could set it. I don't know how to say. I don't have time. I'm too busy. Okay. So do you have a job? Now, I don't care what age you are, honestly. I mean, you're 15, you should have a job, honestly. You know, go mow the lawns or something. But you know, you're in your early 20s, okay? We'll call it 21, 22, 23. Again, I would tell my nieces, honey, if my nieces were in their 20s, I'd say, you got it. Second thing you got to ask is, hey, where do you work? You know, well, you know, right now, oh, next, out, fuck out, next. I don't want to hear, well, you know, next. There's no excuse. I don't want to hear about the job market or I don't know. Things are tough. Not next. Are you kidding me? I don't care. There is no excuse not to have a job. If you are healthy, meaning you can get up and move and you don't have any, you know, severe mental, you know, mental health issues. Listen, we all have, you know, mental health issues. All of us do. Okay. Hopes and fears and, you know, all this stuff. We all have stress and anxiety and panic. We all got that. Okay. Again, if you're relatively healthy, you can get up and walk. Okay. And honestly, you're not mentally, you know, in a straitjacket in a hospital. So if you're healthy, no excuse. You get a job. That's it. I don't care. I don't care. The guy comes from money. That's even worse because if he doesn't have a job and he's living off of mommy and daddy, next. I don't want to hear you're a social influencer. Next. Do you have a job? And if you're a social influencer, are you cashing checks? Okay. So are you bringing in money? I respect the guy that's working at McDonald's more than a dude that's like, well, you know, I don't know. Next. So that's what I would tell you, honey. Okay. So you want a guy that is employed. Doesn't matter where. You want a go-getter. Okay. So do you have a friggin' job? And you're working like at least 5 days a week. Okay. Not like I work an hour here and then I take 10 days up. Next. Okay. Job is number 2. 3 or kind of, well, there's no particular order, but I would say, honey, this is obvious because you'd smell it. Does the guy smoke? Now, I would say it's a deal breaker, not because the guy smokes, but because it's a domino effect. If he's smoking, honey, he's probably doing other stuff that's not good for himself. So odds, okay? It's all about probability, not possibility. Yes, I understand he could be a smoker and be an astronaut and make $1 million a year and love his country and his fam. I understand that. Not probable. So if he's smoking, he's probably drinking and he's probably doing other shit. Next, you know, I would say caveat though. If he is actively like, no, I'm on the patch right now and I'm crushing it. I've been, you know, clean out for 2 weeks, no smoking, you know, okay, you know, it's a go-getter. He's trying. No one's perfect, you know, so you got to throw him a bone there. But if he's, you know what I'm saying, if the dude at next, you don't want that problem. Okay. So the other thing is this person, if he's in his early 20s, right? You know, the person I was talking to, I think is 21 when I was talking to her, but is the person in some kind of schooling? Are they, you know, in a trade school? Are they in the military? Are they in the military reserve? Are they in a college? Are they taking courses somehow? You want to see that the person's trying to better themselves, even if they have a college degree. Are they, are they trying to better themselves? So if you're 18, 19, presumably you would still be in school, and the person's not. So you have to ask them, are you in trade school? Are you going to the military? Are you in community college? Like, if they're saying no, that's not a it's not a deal breaker, because I know a lot of great dudes out there that have no college, no training, and they're just workhorses. That's cool, and in a way, it's kind of training, but it would be a red flag. But you want to know, like, it doesn't have to be college. It could be like, I'm training to be a machinist, or I'm training to be a plumber, or whatever. I'm on, you know what I mean? You want to know some kind of training that shows a little perseverance, a little tenacity. There's that green light again. Hey, okay. I like the purple or red. All right, so the other thing I would say is, is the person does the person have some soul to them, if you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying they got to be, super religious and like walking on water. No, actually, you don't want that. You want to stay away from that. Although if that's what you like, you do you. But I think moderation in life, and that goes for religions too, and spirituality. But you want a guy that, has some form of belief in something, and preferably it would be a nice thing if, they go to synagogue, or they go to mosque, or they go to the church, or they go to temple. It's a good thing. Again, I would say you probably don't want the guy that's like, hardcore, like, I read the Bible 15 hours a day, 7 days a week. Okay, that'd be a red flag, because you want to see balance. But you do want a guy. You don't want a guy that's like, no, man, I don't believe in shit. Okay, and again, spiritual's fine, but I would say, honey, you want, that's a good thing, Okay, so the next thing I would tell my nieces, or if I had a daughter, is this is an easy one. If the person's doing drugs, or the person says, I used to do drugs, but they look like they're still doing drugs, you know what I mean? Next. And I've lost friends and family to drugs, so I'm not saying that people who have drug issues, they're good people, but they got a bad problem on their hands, and you're not a counselor. You're not their mommy. You're not their daddy. You're not, you know what I'm saying? You're not the police. I mean, I would say you got to, be respectful, but next. Because, and when I say drugs, I mean alcohol too. If this person's like, yeah, I live for the weekends, dude. Next. Loser. Next. Out. Next. No. Or if they're like, every night I wind down with some pot. Next. 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 I understand pot's legal, so is beer. Next. And I'm not saying it's New Year's, it's a wedding, honey. I would say that's different, right? But if it's like, I live for the weekends, or I need it every night to wind down, problem. Red flag, honey. That's what I would say. Okay, come on. A lot of great guys out there. They don't do drugs. They don't drink. Again, I get it. Toast for New Year's, but you know what I'm saying. On the weekly, no. And obviously, heroin, coke, and all that stuff. Okay, next one I would say. I got a list here, because that's how much I care about my nieces. That's how much I care about my daughter, if I had one. This is how much I care about this kid that works for me. She's like my daughter, So, I would say. The other question would be, this is a good one. Hey, what are you reading right now? What? What do you mean read? Next. If the dude don't read, and I'm not talking about articles. I'm not talking about, I read the thing on my phone. No. I'm talking about a book. If they're not currently reading a book of some sort. Next. They have to be reading a book. I don't care if it's digital book, paper book, but they have to be reading a book. Nonfiction, fiction's fine, whatever, but they must be reading a book. Now, caveat, if they're not reading a book, they can still be a great guy. So I wouldn't say kick them out, but you're looking for patterns. So if there's no book reading, or they haven't read a book in years, and I'm guilty of that, by the way. So yeah, I mean, like when I was younger, but I read about a book or two a month, But I mean, you want a guy like that, even if it takes him 5 months to read a book, that's fine too. But you want to, hey, what are you reading? If he says, oh, no, nothing right now, I don't know. That shows that they're not trying to better themselves. That's an indication. Okay. Next one, I would say. And if they say they're busy, that's an excuse. We all have jobs. We all have families. Busy is not a reason not to read. Okay. So you would have to also do some investigating. Like, you would ask them, hey, so you guys, you close to your parents or family? Like, and if he's like, yeah, love my mom and dad, or I love my dads, or I love my moms, or I love my whatever, my family, we're relatively close or close. Cool. We like that. that's a good thing. But if he's like, no, fuck them, this and that, ooh, oh, here we go. He's a finger pointer, like we're getting one side of the story. You got to watch out then. Again, not saying that precludes him from being your boo, but you want to kind of delve into that a little bit. Inversely, if he's like, I love my mommy so much and we're best friends, I would say stay away from that guy. Out next. You want to balance. You don't want his mommy being a shot caller. You know what I mean? It's you love your mom, you're there for her, there for dad or whoever's raising you, but again, you don't want the dude to be like, my mom and I next. Okay, so the other thing now, moving on, honey. I would say if they're whining a lot about, oh, this is unfair, that's unfair, and poor me, and everyone's screwing me, and I got screwed here, screwed there, and it's my genes, it's my neighborhood, it's my family. That's an excuse maker. You don't want that guy. Listen, everybody, okay, has got shit. Okay, I would say, honey, come on. I could see, meteorite hit your head, and not your fault. You know what I mean? But everyone's got problems, and it's all relative. You know what I'm saying? So you want a guy that's going to be like, yeah, I got the shit end of the stick, but I'm making lemonade out of these lemons. I'm going to make it propel me forward. That's the guy you like. That's the one you want right there. That's a dude. That might be a keeper right there. That's another big indication. So you don't want an excuse maker. You want a guy that's almost like he wants trials and tribulations that propels him forward. That's good. But if you got a guy that's like, poor me, I could have had this, I could have had that, I should. Next. All right. The other thing I would say is, if this guy's a known ladies man, you know what I'm saying? Don't even bother. Don't even fool around with the dude. If he's a cheater and things like next, just and doesn't mean he's an evil guy for cheating, but you don't want that. It's just like next, and he can swear up and down next. Plenty of guys out there. Trust me, there's no one guy for you. I would say to my nieces, I say, honey, there's a type of guy for you, but there's no one guy out there. There's a type. So you can next, it's all right. Or if you're dating girls, whatever. Okay. I would say this too. If you have a choice, honey, I would say, between a guy, he went to Harvard and, he became a big schmata. He works in this, firm in the building and, okay. And then you got a guy that's working in a warehouse loading shoes. But the guy in the warehouse loading shoes is really tenacious. He's a go-getter. He's moving up the ranks. He's going to become, section manager, and then he's going to be the night manager, and he's climbing up the ranks. He's going to night school. And then the guy from Harvard, it's like, yeah, I got my job, and I'm at the desk. The world owes me, and that's it. I'm just going to ride my life out here, be on the desk, and you don't want to date the Harvard guy or the Yale guy or any guy that went to some fancy schmancy school, and that's it. Like, they think they've accomplished everything and they're not going to try anything else in life. They're 22 and they're like, yep, that's it. I got my desk, I got my car, I got my job, and I'm good to go for the next 70 years. You don't want that guy. You want a go-getter. Take the guy at the warehouse who's tenacious. Honey, I want you to get a tenacious guy, a guy who's disciplined, a guy that doesn't quit, a guy that strives to better himself physically, mentally, spiritually, financially. And it's not all about money, but it's about bettering as a person. So the guy at the warehouse stocking the shoes, but he's climbing the ladder and he's making moves and he's going to night school and he's trying to become the regional manager, this and that. You want that guy. That's a, generally speaking, that's a good trait versus the guy again that thinks, well, I'm here, I graduated from Yale, and that's it. I'm just gonna ride it out. Get rid of that guy. All right. You also want a guy that has a balanced life. Green light, son of a bitch. You want a guy with a balanced life. You want a guy, honey, that's going to make room and time for you, because if this guy's all about any one thing, then he's not able to give you a relationship, so you want a guy that's like, hey, I work out, I go to my church services, I work really hard at work, I'm moving up the scale, I like to read, I like to exercise, and it's important for me to have time with my family and my girlfriend, boyfriend, that's important. So you want that balance. You don't want a guy that's like, no, all I do is work out 7 days a week. All I do is make money. That's it. It's always about the money. 7 days a week. I work 15-hour days, all about the money. You don't want that guy. That's not a balanced person. You want balance. So you want a guy, again, that seems like, okay, he makes time for you, makes time for his family, makes time for his own personal life. You want that, Speaking of which, you also want a guy that has his own life. You want a guy that has some time with his own friends and his own, hobbies and stuff. That's not a bad thing. I would say, honey, that means it's a healthy thing. So if this guy wants to be on his own for a little bit once in a while and likes to go fishing on his own, or he goes out with his friends for dinner, that's a healthy thing. He's not going to cheat on you. If you think he's going to cheat on you, then you're either insecure or that's not the guy for you. But yeah, you want a guy that has part of his balance is her balance. But in this case, again, we're talking about a girl looking for a guy. You want a guy who has that balance, and he's relatively even keeled about his priorities and what is where. There's not any one particular thing that's like everything to him. Okay. So the other thing I would say is, you can't be, somebody that's all about the money, in America, we tend to fall into that. So you want a guy that he works and he's a go-getter, but again, like I said, not someone that's like, no, anything and everything for money. Hey, I gave you nice shoes, I gave you a vacation, gave you a car, leave me alone. All right, you gave you enough. That's not a guy you want to be with. You want a guy who wants to give you time more than money, because time and money are the same thing, but time's actually more important. So anyways, okay. And then look at his friends. You are the company you keep. So if the guy you're interested in has a bunch of shitbag friends, guess what? Next, you don't want this guy, because you are the company you keep. So you want a guy that, maybe he might have one shitbag friend, but the other 99 friends are just amazing dudes. That's what you want. You want a guy, honey, that has friends who, again, everything we're talking about. They're educated, they read, they write, they love their family, they go to services, they volunteer, they have balance, they don't do drugs. You want a guy that has friends like that. And if you see that, then you say, well, that's okay. That's good. He's the company he keeps. He's around good, solid people. The other thing, okay. So the other thing I would say too is, if this guy's a gamer, okay, if he's like, I'll play video games, like, I get it. Video games are prevalent. If he's playing video games, once every other day for an hour or so, you got to wind down. You know what I mean? But if he's on this video game thing, like 5 days a week for 2 hours, 3 hours at a shot, next, loser. He's in mommy's basement. You don't want this guy. You know what I mean? The video game thing, if he's all into that stuff, like, that's what I really like. Okay, but if you're doing like actually, even if you're sitting down to play video games even once a week for 5 hours, that's bad. You don't want a guy like that. Again, I get it. Video games, they're fun to release, no doubt, but you're a grown ass man, you're not 5. I don't want to hear about, I could practice hand-eye coordination. Yeah, practice, get out of here. Next. The little thing I would say, other thing I would say is, well, this is not a big thing, but if they own like an animal, like they have a dog or a cat or fish, that's a nice little green flag. It's like, oh, okay. They show some responsibility. They, people usually have, dogs or cats are a more affectionate, more loving, more empathetic human being. If you have animals, not necessarily, but it's a good flag that pops up, a green flag. So that's, oh, he's got a dog. Okay. You got a cat. You got a turtle, whatever. Cuff and Link. Hey, remember that movie? Okay. So the other thing I would say is, how's he spending his money? Again, balance. If this guy is like running up 5 credit cards and all he does is spend. He's got 95 pairs of shoes. I don't know about that. You don't want a guy that you want a guy, again, spends a little, saves a little, spends a little, saves a little. Doesn't live off of credit cards. There's no excuse for that. None. So you want a guy that's balanced, has a credit card, but not 10 credit cards and they're all maxed out because he has the latest shirt and stuff. Come on, man. You want someone who lives relatively below their means, someone that's not in a shitload of debt. I get it. You got college debt possibly, but I'm talking about like, debt because you have 15 pairs of shoes and 9 coats and, you don't want some guy that's got, you get the latest thing. Like, come on, this guy's probably in debt. I don't care. He makes $1 million. I know people who make $1 million, but they spend $2 million. They're in debt. So You don't want that guy. You want a guy that's not cheap, but responsible. You know what I mean? That's a good guy, honey. That's what you want to look for. And then I would say the other thing is, again, not a red flag, but can he cook? I'm not saying he has to be Chef Boyardee, but can he cook? If he's a big boy, can he scramble some eggs or boil some pasta? You want that in a partner because you, honey, should not be hole in the water for everybody. This is modern times. We're equal, right? So men have to carry their weight, women have to carry their weight. But I'm talking to you, honey. You're my niece. This guy's got to be able to at least make some pasta or something, warm up some stuff. It's this. Okay, that's that. The other thing I would say is he handy? Now I'm not saying he has to build Noah's Ark, but does he own a screwdriver and a hammer? Honestly, you should ask that. Do you own a screwdriver and a hammer? And if he's like, what are those things? Not. It's not a deal breaker, but it's like red flag. Can he change a tire? Ask him. Do you know how to change a tire? Not show me, but can he verbally say, here's what you have to do? If he knows that, that's cool. That just shows you that, okay, like this is a guy that you want that. You know what I mean? And by the way, I would say, honey, you should also learn how to change a tire and use a screwdriver and a hammer because, who's better than you, honey? I love you. I'm your uncle. Okay. You don't want to have to depend on anybody, but you want to be able to do as much as you can do because I don't want to see you, on the side of the road, like, oh, help me. You're strong. You're better than that. You can do that. But the guy should know that too. You know what I'm saying? And so that's a good thing. Anyways, so that's that. I'm sure there's other things I forgot. And again, probably none of these are a deal breaker in themselves, sweetie. But and it's and you got to know too. I would say, you understand when you meet a guy for the first time, it's or someone's meeting a girl or guy, whatever. When you meet someone for the first time, let's be honest, all the emotions running, and you're not in love, you're in lust, and it doesn't have to be that you're having sex, but it's, the emotions run high. So after a few weeks or a few months, then you start to see, the real person's coming out a little bit, And what's funny? I told the girl this too, and I would tell my nieces this too. Don't have romance right away. We all would like you to wait till marriage, honey, but don't have you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about, right? Don't have romance right away. Doesn't mean you can't kiss and hug and hold hands. That's fine. But I would say if you really want to see if this guy loves you, if he's really into you, just say, hey, I don't rush in like that. I got a 5-month rule or 4-month rule or 1-year rule, or I'm waiting to marriage, whatever. And if he doesn't respect that, next, the guy's he's a boy, and believe me when I tell you, there's a lot of men out there that will respect a woman or a man, that says that, because if you really care about somebody, really love them, it's, you'll wait, if you choose that. And if you don't choose that, that's fine too, but protect yourself, stuff like that. But I mean, yeah, it's and for the guys out there that are fucking idiots that are like, oh, well, how do you know, man? How are you gonna know if she's come on. That's why I said you can tell by affection and all those things like that. Because let's be honest, the act of having romance, I mean, squirrels do it, chimpanzees do it, lions do it, turtles do it. Anyone can do that. But so you'll know if, is the person affectionate and loving and, those things. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I would say, though, wait a few months, you're in your early 20s, there's no rush. And then you'll see if that guy's really into you or not. And if he's pressuring you or starting to ghost you and stuff, next, because there's a lot of great guys out there that will wait and that don't mind, because they're mature, they get it. And that's the guy you want to be with. And I can tell you, I've been with women that told me in my past that they told me, I'm waiting till marriage. And I respected that. And we didn't do anything, kiss and hug and affection. But, hold on. There's a special guest here. Come up here. Oh, big boy. You want something to say? You got to say something to somebody? Huh? What do you want to say? Huh? Yeah, this is Rocky. He's 14. You're a viejo, right? Oh, you're done? Okay. He's done. What would Rocky's advice be? But anyways, so those are the basics. I forgot what I was saying because my boss is bothering me. But those are the basics, and don't pressure yourself. Take your time. Get your education, get your training, have your life also. Don't have some dude trying to control you and where were you? I don't want you out with this one. I don't want you. Shut the get next. If a guy's saying that, if he's always checking in on you, insecure boy. Next. Anyways, so I hope that helps you. This is coming from me, DJ Tony. I've been around. You can take my word as gospel. Okay. And I'm not saying I know it all, but you know what I'm saying? I want the best for you, honey. You are my daughter. You are my niece. You are my friend. And the guys out there too. Everything I kind of said, you can really just flip the script and apply that to a woman too, really. I mean, so, you guys deserve the best. I want the best for you. Our bodies are Ferraris. We consume and we put the best fuel in the Ferrari, physically, mentally, spiritually, financially, what is around us. We put the best around us. You deserve the best. I have faith in you. You can do it. I want the best for you. Okay. You understand what I'm talking? Cabiche? Cabiche? Hey, cabiche quando ia falar? No. Okay. Remember this? You don't remember this. I used to get hit by the nuns when I was a kid. This is how old I am. I had nuns and they would be like, kapow. Ow. Okay. All right. I'm getting PTSD now. All right, everybody. Anyways, I am out of here. Thank you. Hey, don't forget, do this, like, subscribe, share this with somebody you love or hate. I got to get my goddamn numbers up. You going to help me out or what? All right. How's your day going, by the way? How you doing? How was the day? My day was all right. It is what it is, But if your day's not going good, it's going to get better. Trust me. Oh, by the way, I highly recommend go to betterhelp.com or talkspace.com. They're apps on your phone. It's very affordable. Someone you can talk to. I use BetterHelp. I love it. I talk about my stress, my anxiety, my hopes, my dreams, my fears. Do it. Everybody needs a therapist. And don't tell me you don't have the money. You got money for how many shoes? You got money for a vacation. You got money to hang out with the boys. You got money to hang out with the girls. You got money for a leased car. You got money for what? A little weekend getaway. You got money for betterhelp.com or Talkspace. They should be paying me, but they're not. All right, everybody, I'm out of here. I'm signing me off. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2.